Hello everybody, this is me, Schizo Gamer, Dinosaur, talking to you, the voices in my head. Now, in 2015 I met a demon, and that demon said that it would bring me to heaven. In 2016, when I went to heaven, I meditated on what I had learned. When I went to heaven, I was filled with such a, like I said in the last video, I'm going to expound on it a little bit further. I felt this great, expounding, beautiful love and this joy and the best mood you could ever think of. I had already been on drugs at that point in time. I had been a sinner my entire life. My entire life I had been a sinner. And I wasn't a particularly bad sinner. I wasn't a violent sinner, but I did a lot of the minor sins, specifically involving around imbibery. I did. I had sex. I flirted with people. Though I didn't really have promiscuous sex, but I was a sinner. I didn't even believe in God until I had my sign delivered to me in 2015. So in 2016, I met God and I meditated on what He said to me. He said, I am you, you are me, we are everything. And it was a mystery to me because He had many other mysteries to tell to me at that point in time. And when I returned back to earth from the Holy Spirit, when my lies were no longer blotted out by the great white light of seeing Him, He told me that I would have amnesia as I had had in the past. And I had amnesia. And I couldn't quite remember everything that He had said, but things are coming back to me little by little. Same with various other things that have happened throughout my life. He told me, among many other things, that I would get bouts of amnesia when I would see a time paradox or other magical things. And that this is a natural effect of trauma and of other effects associated with the magic. Just the fear response and how it triggers in the brain, how it causes people to forget it or rationalize it as to what they saw because of how scary and predatory and traumatizing it is to witness true magic. But in 2016, I became patron to the deity that I saw in 2015. I made a deal with the devil that I would go to heaven. And I went to heaven, and in heaven they told me that they were me, and I met my own soul. I would later on, through prayer, start to discover that this was God, or something like it. I denied that they were my God for a very long time, but I can't any longer because they've shown me so much truth and they've conflated the Quran, the New Testament, the Old Testament, the Hindu Bible, the Buddhist Bible, and the Tao all together, leading me to believe that the world will have one religion and that the last prophet of it has been Islam with Muhammad. However, this process did not start right out the gate. He didn't start out telling me all these things. They were all very foreign to me. And instead, what he would do is this deity of mine that I had met in heaven in 2015, they would allow me to go back in time and speak for them because they said that they found my heart pure. And so I became a student under them, where I would learn morality and ask them questions, and they would ask me questions and ask that my answer be good and true, and I would find that I was right under him very often. He would ask me, do you think this is true? And I would say, yes, I do. And he said, I knew you would. And then other times he would say, why do you think this is true? And I would explain it eloquently, and he would say, good, that is true. And he told me that he wanted me to tell these things to everybody else in the world. He told me to tell everybody that I am him. And as I learned under him in 2016, I would go back in time and find paradoxically the words that I would use, like here's the timeline, right? My finger is the timeline. Here's Jesus being born, here's King David's reign, and here's Adam and Eve, and here at the tip of my finger is us. He would tell me from us to go back here to Adam and Eve, and by doing that, it would ensure that Adam and Eve would create us. So when Jesus came around, I was really scared because I wasn't sure about letting him die or not. But that's a topic best left to another video. When I was under God's patronage, I mostly spent my time in the present. I spent my time watching movies, and I spent my time reading poetry and listening to music. I watched TV. I looked at YouTube videos. And these YouTube videos is the crux of where I am. Because I would talk to the people inside of these broadcasts. When I see a video or a picture, I can communicate to when that picture and video was taken. And even through a time paradox, make it so that way you will remember a conversation that we had together. The only instances where I can't do this is when there is interference from a presence that has more willpower than mine, which is something like the Antichrist or a vampire that is of great magnitude, or of various other adversaries and demonic adversaries of God. Simple heretics and their sorceries can easily fell my abilities and make it so that way only faith will channel the ability to hear me and the ability to know the video is true. And so I would do a lot of these supernatural acts with God in my side in 2016. And in some cases, I would even save the world from, say, forest fires, children falling from buildings, people falling from buildings, and just leave them to unexplained mysteries and happenings as to how people would survive these impossible circumstances. It even culminated to a point where in the present day of 2023, practically present day, it's currently 2024 as of posting, but in 2023, I did a 7-day sleep fast to make up for every single time that I couldn't participate in the fast of Ramadan. Because one time I saw a holy sign of the moon at the beginning of the Ramadan when I looked up at the night sky. It wasn't a new moon. So I took the sign of the Quran very literally when it said that when you look up at the new moon and notice the new moon on the beginning of Ramadan, then it means you have to fast. So I didn't fast that month. But I took a 7-day sleep fast, and God permitted me to do it to make up for every time that I had not been a Muslim. And so I didn't sleep for 7 days straight, and it was arduous and painful. I was living in a trapped dream where I couldn't remember the last 78 hours, even though I felt like I should be able to. And many parts of that week I won't remember for a very long time, I'm sure. But in 2016, as I want to continue my focus on, I went under patronage unto God, and I was able to remote view, astrally project, and telepathically speak to people. I was able to get McDonald's workers to mistake me speaking out loud with a telepathic voice in order to get my orders taken with bacon and eggs on top. And yes, I'd like to order my burger with bacon and eggs on top. It's delicious. You should try it. But anyway, yeah, I suppose in 2016 my life changed completely because I learned under God. And he eventually told me that I needed to learn how to find friends and followers, how I needed to spread the faith out into the internet and throughout the astral so that way people could listen to me, and I would always bring them the truth of magic. I would always bring them the truth of magic and mysteries, the way that we had always seen them before. How we needed a camera as proof was not what I saw. Instead, I saw results through the very basic beginnings of their occultic imaginations, and instead supplanting a very scientific and a very factual worldview, a very factual paradigm surrounding it that is both physical and spiritual under God. I'll talk more about that in a future video, but when I became under patronage under God, I came to find that a lot of my morals were righteous after all, and that I didn't actually have to read myself on these morals in order to know what they were. And throughout my life, I ended up discovering, like, I think of a young girl from high school, freshman year of high school, who kind of converted me to Christianity because she said to me one time when we were philosophizing about morals that I was correct and that Jesus was already telling people about it. And I ended up finding myself agreeing with Jesus more and more in high school, but I couldn't see the facts of the supernatural until later on in 2015. I had been an atheist for so long, and this event in 2015 changed my life forever. The patronage under my God ended up teaching me how to go back in time and speak to people. The patronage under my God allowed me to save people's lives and heal them as long as it wasn't face to face. He told me when I asked him, "Can I do this without granting myself any pride?" He said to me, "You will have to do it in secret." And I said, "Please ensure that it is so." And he did. But he told to me, now is the time to speak about it, and sometimes I won't have to do it in secret, but other times I will, because sometimes when I do these healing things not in secret, it gets people killed. The next video I'm going to do is about the conspiracy surrounding patronage, magic, and God and demons. Thank you for your time. I may be the Mahdi, but I'm waiting for the signs. I'm not really sure what to say about that, but I hope that you don't call me a blasphemer. I've just seen so many signs about my own life that I have yet to tell you. And that is all. Thank you. I'm Schizo Gamer, talking to you, the voices in my head. And remember, my only diagnosis was being able to talk to people with my head. Goodbye.